Finally, the Me Notebook is here in India, something that all of us have been waiting for eagerly since God knows how long. And we've got it for review, we've spent a little bit of time with it, and we thought instead of doing a generic unboxing plus first impressions video, why not do an FAQ video wherein we answer all your questions that you may have related to the build quality, the keyboard, the display, performance, can it play GTA 5, can it play PUBG Mobile on the emulator, can you edit videos on it? And these are the exact questions that we're going to be answering today. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that bell icon next to it, because we'll be uploading tons and tons of videos on the Me Notebook, detailed comparisons, performance tests, etc. So you really don't want to miss that one. That being said, let's just get straight into the video, and we'll start by answering questions regarding the exterior and the build quality and design basically. So, well, we get a metallic frame on the Me Notebook 14. By the way, we have the Horizon variant with the top end specifications, which is the i7 and 512GB of SSD. We'll talk more about it when we move on to the internals and the specifications. But yeah, starting with the exterior, is it built out of metal? Yes, it's solid metal. It feels very premium in the hand, and it is also very lightweight. It's just 1.4 kilograms, so it's very portable, can slide into your bag easily, and you will be really happy carrying it around with you because it does not add any weight to your shoulders. So that's about the build quality. Also, there's no branding as such on the top lid, so it's completely clean, and that gives it a very nice and minimal look. Also, how does it feel in the hand? As I already said, it's very robust and the build quality is really nice. I really like how it's constructed. Can the screen be opened with one finger? Yes, you can open the screen with one finger, and this is something that Xiaomi stressed on even in the briefing that we had, that it's really nice and smooth to open with one finger. However, something that we observed was that the hinge is actually very loose. So for the time being, that's not really a big issue. I mean, that's not even an issue at all right now. It actually helps you open the lid faster and smoother. But in the long run, we're not sure how the hinge is going to hold up because it is actually very loose. It falls shut even if it's slightly in a tilted position. So that is something that we can see only with time. So stay tuned. Again, we will be doing a long-term review of the Me Notebook. So moving on, what are the ports that are present on the Me Notebook 14? On the Horizon variant, at least, we're not sure about the lower end variants. I don't think the ports should differ. But yeah, I think the lower variants do not have a Type-C port. Only the Horizon edition has it. So well, yeah, you get two USB 3.0 Type-A ports, one USB 2.0 Type-A port, and a USB-C port, which I mentioned only on the Horizon variant. And the USB Type-C port is only for data transfer and for charging an external device like a smartphone. You cannot use the Type-C port to charge the laptop itself, or it's basically not a Thunderbolt port. You cannot connect external monitors or GPUs through the USB-C port on the Me Notebook. You get a headphone jack cum mic port, and the quality of the headphone jack output seemed nice, and that can be partly due to the Dolby DTS that's present, due to which the speaker output is also really nice. So the next question is, how is the speaker output? Now the speaker is surprisingly loud. We get two 2-watt speakers, so we didn't expect a lot, but in our initial impressions the volume was quite loud and the sound output was quite full. So the next question is there an SD card slot on the Me Notebook? Unfortunately not. So if you are a content creator and you do photography or videography, you are surely going to miss the SD card slot on the Me Notebook 14. However, you can purchase a dongle or an adapter which you can get from Amazon for about 200-300 rupees. We will link it down in the description below, so make sure you check that out. So how does the Me Notebook charge? Well, you have a DC charging port and we have support for 1C fast charging. So what this really means is you're going to get 50% power in 35 minutes. At least that's what Xiaomi claims. Again, we haven't spent a lot of time with it, so we haven't gotten to test the charging capabilities. We will be mentioning that in our full review, so stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. So moving on, how exactly is the display on the Mi Notebook 14? So we get a full HD 14-inch panel, and Xiaomi claims that the 14-inch panel is basically fitted into a body of a 13.3-inch machine, and we have to agree because the Mi Notebook is extremely compact, and this is mainly because the bezels around the display are really thin. Now, is the display matte finish or glossy? It is matte finish, it is anti-reflective, and this is something we really like. If you're in a well-lit environment, you are really going to appreciate the matte finish texture on the display. How are the colors on the screen? Well, the colors are nice and rich. It is an IPS panel, and while the saturation levels aren't too high, the display is adequately bright, and also the colors look pretty good and not very punchy. I think they're more true to life rather than being contrasty and saturated. So if you like a display like that, you're gonna like the one on the Mi Notebook 14. Is it bezel-less? Yes, as I already mentioned, it is bezel-less. And with that comes the next point. Is there a webcam on the Mi Notebook 14? And unfortunately, we do not have an inbuilt webcam on the Mi Notebook 14. That's because of the bezel-less design. Xiaomi decided to skip the webcam because there was no place to put it. However, we get a bundled Mi HD webcam in the box itself. So that was the next question. What do you do for the webcam? And well, Xiaomi has got you covered in this aspect, at least for the Mi Notebook 14 series. They are bundling in a webcam along with the laptop itself. It's an external USB webcam that you attach whenever you want, and you can just set it aside when you're not using it. How is the quality of that webcam? Well, the quality is surprisingly better than most laptops. So I compared it to the MacBook Pro 15-inch that I use, and I found the quality of this external webcam to be better. And also it is a wider field of view on this particular webcam than you get with most inbuilt laptop webcams. So it's kind of a win-win situation, but you again have to carry that webcam additionally with you wherever you go. So the next set of questions are related to the keyboard and the trackpad. So what kind of keyboard is it? It is a chiclet style keyboard, and the typing experience on the keyboard, that's a nice question. How exactly is the typing experience? And we really like the experience initially. The keyboard feels nice and very tactile. However, the key travel could have been better. So what's the key travel is the next question. It's 1.3 millimeters, and this could have been slightly better. It's not mushy, it's actually quite tactile, and it's not very noisy either. The keyboard is quite silent to type on, but yes, the key travel in our experience could have been better. Also, if you've been using a bigger laptop in the past, say a 15-inch one, you're gonna have to get used to the 14-inch form factor because the keyboard is really compact. But that's kind of expected given the overall footprint of the laptop, and you will get used to it as and when you keep using it. So is the keyboard backlit? This is a big bummer in our opinion. The keyboard on the Mi Notebook 14 is not backlit, and I really don't know why Xiaomi compromised in this aspect. It's probably to reduce the thickness, but if you're using the laptop at night or in conditions where there's not a lot of lighting, you are surely going to miss the backlit keyboard. I think Xiaomi wants you to buy their Mi LED USB plug-in thingies. I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You plug them into the USB port and you can bend it over to the keyboard and it's going to light it up. Yeah, I think Xiaomi wants you to buy that, and that's why they've probably compromised on the keyboard backlight, but this can be a big deal breaker for a lot of people. At least it is for me. Let us know what you think about the keyboard backlight in the comments below. Next, moving on to the trackpad. So how big is the trackpad? The trackpad is decently large. It's rectangular and it's in the center of the body, and it's smooth to use. Of course, it's not a glass trackpad, and hence you don't get extremely smooth experience that you would on higher end laptops like the Dell XPS or even the MacBooks. But for what it is, the trackpad offers a smooth experience. Are there gestures on the trackpad? Yes, you get Windows precision drivers, and along with that you get all your swiping gestures in order to switch tabs or switch desktops or minimize your desktop or whatever you want to do. The trackpad is customizable with regards to gestures. How is the clicking feel on the trackpad? Now this is something I personally did not like. I feel that the trackpad depresses too low. So when you click on it, when you physically click on it, it depresses to a level that I feel is too low. Of course, you can just touch the trackpad to click it, but if you choose to physically press on it, I personally feel that the level that it depresses to is a tad too much. Moving on, the next set of questions is to do with performance. So what chipset does the Mi Notebook 14 have? Well, the Horizon edition that we have here with us has the Core i7-10510U. You do get an i5 variant as well, which is the base model, and also our unit comes with the MX350 graphics, and this is the Indian debut of that GPU. It's the first laptop to come to India with the MX350. This is nice to see. Now a lot of you may have this question saying, what exactly is the MX350 comparable to? Well, in our testing we found out that the MX350 is very similar to the 960M, which is actually quite old now, probably about 2 or 3 years old. I think more than that. So that is what the MX350 is similar to. You're gonna get very similar performance, and it's slightly lower than the 1050 from Nvidia. So I think you should get a rough idea of the kind of performance that you're gonna get. We're gonna talk about it more in detail. Also, 8GB of RAM is standard across all variants of the Mi Notebook, and it's also the maxed out config that you can get. So you have to live with 8GB, and you cannot upgrade the RAM because it is soldered onto the motherboard. So you have to live with 8GB. You get 512GB of SSD on our variant that we have here, and I think that's the maxed out variant as well. You can swap out the SSD, but I don't think you would want to spend too much on a 1TB SSD and replace that. So yeah, that's that. The next question is, what is the boot time on the Mi Notebook 14? So in our testing we found out that the average boot time was about 18 seconds, and if you go to the task manager, the last BIOS time shows as 4.1 seconds. Now these values are with some background applications running. You can see that on your screen right now. The next question is, what's the Cinebench score? And we got an average score of 1400 to 1600 when we run the test multiple times, and this is actually quite a nice score. I compared it to the MacBook Pro 15 I have, which has the Intel 4780HQ from quite some time ago, and the scores are very similar. In fact, the difference was only about 50 to 60 points, and this is a U series chip from Intel. It's the 10th gen chip, and it's been performing really nice on the Mi Notebook 14, especially with regards to benchmarks. At least we'll have to test it in detail. What's the Unigin Heaven score for the GPU? Well, we got a score of 33 FPS on an average on the Mi Notebook 14. So this is decent, not too good. You would get a better idea with the next question. So how well does GTA 5 run? Now on the benchmark on GTA 5, we got an average FPS of 40 to 50. We will be doing an in-depth gameplay and analysis along with the FPS values, frame rates of GTA 5 and a lot of other games. So make sure you subscribe for that. But yes, on the benchmark for now, we got around 45 FPS as the average, which is quite good. You can play the game easily without any issues. The next question will interest a lot of you. How well does PUBG Emulator run on the Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition? We basically played at full HD and smooth and extreme graphic settings, and with that particular setting we got very nice gameplay. Now the graphics weren't all that good. Of course, you're setting it on smooth plus extreme, so you cannot expect very nice graphics, but we got a constant frame rate of 50 to 60 FPS. Now again, we will be doing an in-depth gameplay test of PUBG Mobile on the emulator with FPS data and temperature checks. So make sure you are subscribed for that. You surely don't want to miss that one. Now the next question is, can you edit videos on the Mi Notebook 14? Yes, you can edit videos. We did use DaVinci Resolve to edit a small clip. So here basically we picked out some clips that we had in 1080p 60 fps, dropped it on the timeline, slowed down one clip to 40%. So it was a very basic edit, just 2 layers and random clips. One clip slowed down, as I said, and the total duration of the entire project came to about 7 minutes. And what's the rendering time? So 7 minutes of footage took about 9 minutes 25 seconds to render, and the IR thermometer showed a maximum temperature of about 42 degrees, at least on the exterior, and that's quite good. The rendering time isn't the best, but it's acceptable given the configuration of the Mi Notebook 14, and the thermals as well were handled pretty well. Again, we will be doing an in-depth analysis of the video editing capabilities as well of the Mi Notebook 14, and even comparing it to something like the MacBook Pro to give you a rough idea about how well the Mi Notebook 14 performs with regards to video editing. So again, I'm reiterating this, make sure you subscribe, you don't want to miss that one. So next question is, how much RAM does Chrome consume on the Mi Notebook 14 given that you only have 8GB? Now we run 20 tabs on Chrome. This is slightly extreme. I don't think any of you would be running 20 tabs on Chrome at once. But yeah, upon opening 20 tabs, Chrome was consuming 2GB of RAM with no other apps open in the background. So what does the thermal performance on the Mi Notebook 14 look like? Well, at least in our brief testing, even while running benchmarks, the CPU and GPU temperatures were touching about the 70 to 75 degree mark, not more than that. And the external temperature was around the 50 degree mark. So it's quite good. The Mi Notebook 14 is handling the temperatures quite fine, at least in our brief testing. There is a single fan inside, and the exhaust vent is on the left side of the Mi Notebook 14, and at least as of now, according to us, the thermals are pretty good on the Mi Notebook 14. So do you get Windows out of the box on the Mi Notebook 14? Yes, you do get Windows 10 Home right out of the box. You don't have to do any additional installation. So now moving on to some miscellaneous questions. Do you get Microsoft Office installed on the Mi Notebook 14? Now you do get Office installed, and you do get a free subscription for a trial version for 1 month. However, you will need to enter your credit card details beforehand to activate this trial subscription. So yeah, that is something you have to keep in mind. The next question is, what is Mi Smart Share? So Mi Smart Share is essentially an AirDrop alternative. So if you're aware about AirDrop, or if you've used it on a Mac with an iPhone, you can seamlessly transfer files from your phone to the laptop and vice versa. So this is a really nice addition by Xiaomi. You can easily transfer your photos, videos, and any sort of files that you want from your phone to your laptop, and if you edit videos, you can just transfer it and edit videos seamlessly on your laptop without actually connecting the cable to your smartphone. Now this currently works only with Android devices and the Mi Notebook, and not with iOS devices. We'll have to see if the compatibility is stretched further. The next question is, what is Mi Blaze Unlock? Now Mi Blaze Unlock is also another very nifty feature. You can use your existing Mi Band 3 or Mi Band 4 in order to unlock the Mi Notebook. So if you have a pin set on your Mi Notebook, and if you're wearing the Mi Band, and if you're around the Mi Notebook, it'll automatically unlock the laptop for you without having to enter your pin. This is a really nice hack. I mean, even the MacBooks have it with regards to the Apple Watch. So if you're wearing an Apple Watch, your Mac will unlock instantly. Similarly, if you're wearing the Mi Band, your Mi Notebook will unlock instantly. However, we did not get it to work for some reason. We just could not pair the Mi Band to the Mi Notebook. It kept on throwing an error that it's not able to connect. So yeah, I think we'll have to figure that out. Either Xiaomi needs to push out an update on a server side, or there's something to do with the Mi Band firmware upgrade that hasn't been rolled out yet. But yeah, we weren't able to pair it. Finally, moving on to questions regarding the battery and charging. So what's the battery capacity on the Mi Notebook 14? So we have a 65 watt hour battery, and Xiaomi claims a battery life of about 8 to 9 hours on a single charge. Now again, we haven't had it for too long, so we haven't tested it extensively. We will be doing that in the coming days, so we will let you know in our full review about the battery life. So now, do you get fast charging on the Mi Notebook 14? Yes, we get 1C fast charging. That's the protocol that Xiaomi has implemented. How long does it take to charge? So the 1C fast charging protocol tells you that you can get up to 50% charge, so 0 to 50% in about 35 minutes. That's the metric that Xiaomi is giving us. Again, we'll have to test this extensively and we will let you know in our full review, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's been a very comprehensive FAQ in our opinion. We've covered almost every topic that you may have a question on. If you still have any further questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and we will answer them as soon as possible, and we'll also include them in our full review. Reiterating this again, we are doing a dedicated test for gaming on GTA 5, PUBG Emulator, doing a dedicated test for video editing to see how well it does. We're going to be using DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, comparing it with the MacBook and seeing how well that does, if you can use it for video editing. And yeah, I think for now that's pretty much it. If you like this video, then make sure you hit that like button, share with your friends if they're planning to get the Mi Notebook 14, and if you are planning to get one, let us know in the comments below if you are gonna get one or what exactly makes you get the Mi Notebook 14 over other available options. If you want us to compare it with any other options out there, let us know. We'll make that happen as well. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you around.